Hot news: McConnell and Pelosi have a fraught relationship. The shutdown hasn't by end. Washington as the reality of divided government sink in the day after the midterm elections, Senator Mitch McConnell, the Kentucky Republican who had just expanded his majority, held out hope that he and incoming Speaker Nancy Pelosi would find a way to get things done despite their deep differences. "We're not unfamiliar with each other," Mr. McConnell told reporters in November, recounting their time working together on spending bills, and we'll probably have a lot more dealings with each other in the future. Those dealings are off to a terrible start. A significant now, with Mr. McConnell making his first significant legislative overture to break the stalemate on Sunday, the outcome might rest on the capacity of Ms. Pelosi and Mr. McConnell to find a way to bridge the divide between them, their parties and the White House. The two congressional leaders are ideological opposites who are two of the Capitol's most experienced deal makers, yet to this point each has mainly called on the other to relent. "They come from very different universes," said Antonia Ferrier, a former top aide to Mr. McConnell who also worked in the House for the Republican leader John A. Boehner. Ms. Pelosi says the Senate should allow votes on House-passed measures to reopen government agencies. Mr. McConnell has tried to turn up the pressure on Ms. Pelosi in recent days with little success in a series of speeches on the Senate floor, accusing the very distinguished Congresswoman from San Francisco of playing to her party's left wing with her description of the wall as an immorality. These days, it seems like Democrats are happy to take their cues from the gentle lady from San Francisco and her extreme, fringe position that walls have now become immoral, Mr. McConnell said in a typical rebuke to the newly restored speaker. In a phone call with the president before Saturday's proposal announcement, Mr. McConnell encouraged Mr. Trump to extend the offer with temporary immigration protections as a way to reach out to Ms. Pelosi and other Democrats with a more appealing overture, according to a person familiar with the call who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a private conversation. Ms. Pelosi has argued that it is Mr. Trump's intransigence and Mr. McConnell's refusal to allow a vote on House bills that would reopen the government but not fund a border wall, despite the Senate's that is putting the nation at risk. "The president's insistence on the wall is a luxury the country can no longer afford," Ms. Pelosi said on Thursday. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Democratic leader, suggested that Mr. McConnell was way out to lunch in trying to place responsibility for the shutdown on Ms. Pelosi. Her allies in the House. "The bottom line is Pelosi is showing some leadership over here," Representative Jim McGovern, Democrat of Massachusetts and chairman of the Rules Committee, said last week. McConnell is as longtime party leaders. Ms. Pelosi and Mr. McConnell have history with each other, much of it not good given their divergent ideologies. Ms. Pelosi, in a television interview last year, characterized Mr. McConnell's 2010 claim that his top priority was to make Mr. Obama a one-term president as a racist statement. The criticism as the parties clashed over the shutdown, Mr. McConnell threw more fuel on the fire last week with assailing the ethics and election overhaul legislation that Democrats proudly designated H.R. 1 to emphasize its centrality to the party's image and agenda. Mr. McConnell, the longer the federal government remains closed for business, more services are affected. Ms. Pelosi and Mr. McConnell managed to work together in the past to produce spending measures covering foreign operations when they served as top members of the relevant appropriations subcommittees in the House and Senate nearly 2 decades ago. During the a spokesman for Ms. Pelosi said that the relationship between the two was strictly business and that much more of Ms. Pelosi's time was dedicated to working with Mr. Schumer and Representative Kevin McCarthy of California, the House Republican leader. Ms. Pelosi has ignored Mr. McConnell's attacks, and Democrats do not believe they are doing much damage. She has instead. Democrats had planned to use their new power center on Capitol Hill to showcase. But the shutdown. "I hope this is the low water mark, and not the high water mark," said Representative Will Hurd of Texas, one of the few Republicans who have consistently joined Democrats in voting to reopen the government. If this is an while Democrats are not advancing their planned agenda at the moment, they believe the shutdown is significantly harming Mr. Trump, with public opinion polls showing him getting most of the blame. Senate Republican, despite the lack of legislative activity, members of both parties still hope they can get back on track once the shutdown is resolved, with a public works bill considered the top bipartisan possibility. Infrastructure is not and should not be a partisan issue, said Representative Peter A. DeFazio, Democrat of Oregon and chairman of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. There is substantial. Senator John Cornyn, Republican of Texas, said common ground could be reached. I mean, well.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.